learn data structures.
10 most important data structures which every programmer should learn.
Why data structure is very important for each and every programmer.
That's the power of algorithms.
The data structures and algorithms is a very important thing.
Hello, welcome in another important video. I hope you all are doing great, and in this video we are learning about what is data structures. If you go over the internet, you will find different definitions of data structures, but all of them are trying to explain same thing in little bit different way. Alright, so I have prepared few points which will help you understanding what is data structure easily. So let's go through that one by one. So the first important thing you need to understand about data structure, that is nothing but it is a way of storing a data. Alright, so let's imagine the program where you are declaring different variables, like you're declaring integer variables, string variables and boolean variables. So all those are nothing but a way of storing data, but that is in unstructured format. Data structures not only helps us with storing our data, but it also helps to organize our data. Let's try to understand this with one example. So now consider this example. Now let's imagine that we want to write one program where we want to store three different type of data. So now there are two different ways through which we can store our data. One is the traditional way, that is unstructured way of storing our data. We'll simply declare our variables one after the other and we will run our program. And there is another way through which we can structure our data. Alright, so the difference between unstructured and structured data is nothing but whenever we will run our program, in case of our unstructured data, okay, all those variables will get stored in the memory randomly. So even though we write those variables one after the other, depends on the current status of memory, those variables will get allocated randomly. But in the case of structured data, in some extent we have control over where do we want to store our data or how do we want to store our data. So in a structured format, all those variables will get memory one after the other. So now this is important because whenever we will perform operations on this data, so the speed of those operations will depend on where our data is stored. Alright, so if our program is taking more time to reach up to the memory, so our program will become more inefficient. Alright, so I hope you have understood this example. Now let's move on to the next point. Data structures helps us arranging our data. So since we have little bit control over how do we want to store our data, so we can arrange data accordingly so that we can access those data easily and efficiently. Alright, moving on to the next point, data structures helps us update data efficiently, and it also helps us with processing, retrieving and sorting data. So since we have organized data, our data operations will take relatively lower time as compared to the unstructured data. So that's the reason why we need to use data structures. So I hope you have better understanding over the data structure now. So in our upcoming videos, we will understand different type of data structures and we will go through that one by one. But that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.